I often hear people arguing over what's the greatest year in hip hop. Some people say 88, some people say 94, some people say 2016. All due respect to those years, and I'm pretty sure some I left out of there. You can let me know in the comments. Today, I'm here to talk about the greatest year in hip hop history, 1998. Let's go. I don't think there's been a year in hip hop where so many different variations of hip hop flourished. The underground flourished, the commercial flourished. And you got to think, every 5 years or so, hip hop goes through a transition, right? So 1998, we're coming out of the bad boy era. So it's the last of the Jiggy era. Funny enough, the first album that dropped in 98 I have on my list here is The LOX, Money, Power, Respect. It's a transitional year in hip hop, and it's the dawning of new king and queens, right? And so many different sounds. So you'll get Jay-Z and Lauryn Hill, or Beastie Boys and Outkast, or DMX to Black Star, to Master P, to Big Timers, to it, and the list goes on and on and on and on, right? Going through this list, and I'm gonna read off a couple albums that dropped in that year. But reading this list, it seemed like every month something great was happening in hip hop as far as new releases. Whether they age well or not, it's a lot of moments, quote unquote, in 1998 with albums, right? Also, it's a year of great debut albums. 1998 had a bunch of great debut albums, from Lauryn Hill to DMX to Snoop Dogg debut album on No Limit, Cameron, Confessions of Fire, Black Star debut album. It was just a bunch of great debut albums dropping that day. But I'm gonna go through some of the albums I put down here. Feel free to leave in the comments your favorite year in hip hop, and let's discuss how great of a year 98 was, you know, for hip hop. I'm gonna read this list of the top 10 highest first week numbers. Let me know in the comments if you guess, like, before I end, what am I getting to? Like, okay, let's start. The Beastie Boys, Hello Nasty, crazy title. Beastie Boys sold over 600,000 copies the first week. Going to DMX, Flesh in My Flesh, Blood in My Blood, close to 700,000. And also DMX dropped 2 albums in the same year. He dropped at the top of the year, and then he also dropped Christmas ending the year. Like, that's just amazing shit. But anyway, DMX at number 2, Snoop Dogg at number 3 with 520,000 from his debut album with No Limit, The Game Is To Be Sold, Not To Be Told. Master P at number 4, I believe it was The Last Dawn, 495,000 the first week. Lauryn Hill at number 5, which I thought was higher. 422,000 is a great number for the first week, but I'm pretty sure it just like picked up momentum. Number 6, Method Man with To Cal 2000, which this was a shocker to me. I didn't know that album sold 411,000 the first week, but I'm thinking coming off To Cal, it took so long for a second album, the anticipation. At number 7, Mystical, 366,000. I think that was his last album with No Limit. Number 8, Jay-Z, Hard Knock Life, 350,000 first week. Silk the Shocker at number 9 with, I believe, Charge It to the Game with 288,000. Number 10 is DMX, 251,000 with It's Darker, Hell Is Hot. What I conjured from looking at that just first week sales, No Limit had shit on lock. No Limit was really ruling things. Like, to think about it, in the top 10 it had the Snoop album, the Master P album, the Mystical album, and the Silk the Shocker album. That's 4 albums in the top 10 highest selling first week of the year, like of 1998. That's crazy. Like, just to see like the impact of that. And they dropped like probably a couple months in between each other with more No Limit albums sprinkled in here. This wasn't even like, No Limit dropped a Fiend album. They started the year with Young Bleed. Just so crazy. Capadonna debut album, Goody Mob second album, People Don't Dance No More. I remember looking at that video, People Don't Dance No More, and it freaked me out as a little kid when CeeLo, they just put the head on the, CeeLo's head on the kid's body at the beginning. Gangstar and Daz dropped on the same day. Gangstar Moment, the Truth album, Daz Dillinger debut album. Big Pun, Capital Punishment came out. Let's just say that. Let's just stop right there. Big Pun, Capital Punishment came out in 1998. On the same day, Public Enemy dropped He Got Game soundtrack plus a Public Enemy album. And Dub C debut album also came out the same day as Capital Punishment. My dad hated that CD. AZ Pieces of a Man, which that single that he had with SWV was just like horrible. It had like it's funny because Mariah Carey just flipped the same sample for Honey around the same time. But if you look at that AZ video, it looked like he don't even want to do that. Nori's debut album also. Nori came out. Like, listen to the sound. We had a different sound with the Neptune sound with Super Thug going against like Dame Grease, DMX going against, well, Still Hitman and whoever's on Jay-Z's album at the time. You know what I mean? Going against Primo, going against Pras with Ghetto Superstar. Like, in a 3-week span in July, we had Nori's debut album, Beastie Boys, the next week, and Cameron, Confessions of Fire, and Nate Dogg's debut album in a span of 3 weeks. None of those albums sounded like hip-hop was so good. Look, Snoop debut album, No Limit, came out August 4th. Lauryn Hill came out at the end of the month with the Miseducation. Exhibit debut album dropped the same day as Lauryn Hill. That had to be tough. Fat Joe, Don Cartagena came out September 1st. At the end of the month, we get the Big Timers album, How You Love That Volume 2. Just to think, we're getting, at the beginning of the year, we get like I said, No Limit's running. This is how crazy hip hop is. No Limit is just running shit. At the tail end of the year, we get a Big Timers album and we get 400 Degrees. The switch, just that sudden, it was just crazy that at the end of the year, it was a whole new regime out of New Orleans. This is the craziest date to me. On September 29th, Black Star, debut album, Jay-Z, Hard Knock Life, Outkast, Aquemini, and A Tribe Called Quest, The Love Movement, all dropped on the same day. That's probably, excluding The Love Movement, Black Star, Jay-Z, and Outkast all dropping on the same day. That's just like amazing. And looking back at it, and it seems like, looking back at it, it's like we don't even have, like I said, this was a year that all different types of hip hop flourished. Like, we had Black Star, they're just underground, you know what I mean? Like, when you think of an underground rapper backpack, it's Black Stars, it's Yasin, and it's Talib, right? The Heights with the commercialism with Jay-Z, Hard Knock Life, Annie sample, all 6 Jay-Z hits on one album, like just commercial hip hop greatness. You get eclectic hip hop that's like damn near my favorite Outkast album, and I get in conversations with a lot of people. Aquemini's Outkast's best album to a lot of people. To have those 3 albums and pretty much almost the last Tribe album as well on the same day, crazy. Corrupt debut album, Corruption. We can freak if you want to. 400 Degrees dropped November 3rd. The following week, Ice Cube dropped War and Peace. Also, Method Man dropped Tikal 2000 on the same day. The following week after Tikal 2000, the RZA dropping Bobby Digital. Like, this is crazy. Busta Rhymes Extinction level event. You got Redman, Docs the Name 2000. And it's funny that they both sounded Def Jam, so I get it, but Tikal 2000, and then Redman's album had the 2000 in it as well. DJ Clue, The Professional, Mystical, Ghetto, Fabulous. And then to close out the year, the last album dropped on December 22nd was DMX, Flesh in My Flesh, Blood in My Blood. Can it get any better than those albums I just read through? Scarface dropped My Homie's album. I listed at least 6 or 7 classics out of that year. Aquemini, Lauren, Jay, Black Star, 400 Degrees, Capital Punishment, DMX, both of those albums. Almost 10 classics, 10 hip-hop classics. Like, when you see people who have their podcasts and you see people decorate their houses, they have at least 3 of these albums that I just mentioned in it. That's crazy. Probably even more. I'm cutting it short. I know people got Aquemini, Lauryn Hill, and Black Star. I didn't even mention Hard Knock Life. I didn't even mention Capital Punishment. I just didn't even mention. You know what I mean? With so many classic albums coming out that year, so many classics albums dropping on the same day, so many legendary moments, the shift of hip hop. this is why I choose 98 as the best year in hip hop history. And you know, we're celebrating 50 years. This is pretty dope. I think I'll do some more years. Let's make this a thing. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of 98 being the greatest year in hip hop? If not, what's your favorite year in hip hop? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I gotta go make a playlist or something with just the greatest songs out of 98 hip hop wise. I didn't even talk about R&B. That's a whole nother thing in 98, but I digress. As always, I'm Tatum. Peace.